What's up, champions? I hope you're doing amazing today. I wanted to shoot this video to give you a little bit more context as to how we manage our time. So many times we get away from what really matters in pursuit of something that just makes us feel like we're spinning all the time. Like we're a dog and we're chasing our tail around and around and around, or we're a hamster on a wheel, or we're just running around putting fires out all the time. Trust me, I've been there. If this is you, you're not alone. I spent many years of my life while I was chasing my passion, my dream to becoming a world champion rodeo athlete. And I came up with this little thing that I actually learned from Stephen Covey, and I wanted to share it with you in case you haven't seen it. And so this is basically a way to show you how to manage your time, how to get more done, and just to feel like less overwhelmed. So without further ado, I want to show you the big rocks. Okay, y'all ready to see the big rocks? I have a few different materials. I've got, number one, my cup, because sometimes our cups are full and we feel like we're overflowing and we don't have enough stuff to put in here. So this represents our time. It's our cup, it's our vase, it's our glass, it's whatever you want to call it. But this represents the total amount of time that we have in a day to get our jobs done, right? Now, I have basically four other materials right here. I have water, okay? I have sand, I have pebbles, small rocks, and then I have big rocks. Now, each one of these things represents something. So the first thing is we have water right here. Now, this is how most people operate their life. What the water represents are small menial tasks, right? Things that don't really matter. Maybe like scrolling social media, binging Netflix, certain things like that that just don't produce a lot of fruit in their life, right? And this goes back to understanding what your true purpose is. What are you meant to do? What do you really want? What's your vision? What's your passion, right? And so many people, the reason they get caught in this rat race of life is that they're doing so much time, taking so much of their free time, and they're dedicating it towards things that don't matter. And that's what the water represents. Now, the next material we have here is some sand.
I don't like sand.
Sand is one of those things that has some merit, has some value, has something to do with their life that makes some fruit, right? Maybe if you're a mother, it's folding the clothes. Maybe if you're a business owner, it's maybe responding to that email that somewhat potentially could move the business needle further ahead, but you don't know, right? It's the busy work. It's the things that we do to feel like we're doing something, but are producing not much fruit at all. We're just gonna take some of the sand, and I'm gonna try not to get it all over the place, but we're gonna fill up our cup, which represents our time, with sand, right? As you can tell, it's getting full. Our cup is getting very, very full, right? It's also getting very messy in here. But we're filling up our cup with sand, things that really aren't massively important, but they make us feel like we're actually doing something. For me as a rodeo athlete, I had to take care of the horses. I had to feed the horses, I had to clean the horses, I had to clean the stalls, I had to shoe my horses, I had to do all this stuff, which is great stuff, right? And those are things that I needed to do, but they didn't move the business needle ahead as far as being a professional rodeo athlete. Now, the next material is something that does have some merit, right? And it does matter a little bit. This could be taking that business course that you've always wanted to take, responding to some emails that are very important that could potentially lead to sales if you're in business. This could be learning a new skill, a new task, something that will better your life or your family's life, right? This is represented by the small rocks. So now I'm gonna take in and I'm gonna put some of these small rocks in. And as you can see, the water is rising. The water is getting higher and higher and higher and higher. And as I keep piling on the things we think are the most important, your cup is filling all the way up. And there's no room for it to go. Now I have three things inside my cup. Water, okay, which represents things that aren't important at all. Like, it's just something that takes our time away. The second thing is the sand. Now the sand is a little bit of value, but not very much. Then we got into the rocks, and that's where we're starting to feel like, hey, we're getting ahead, but I'm still overwhelmed. I'm still feeling like I have so much to do. And then come the last and most important things that you must do. Now this, my friends, is our big rocks, right? These are the things that actually matter. If you are a business owner, it's sales. It's customers valuing your product or service. If you're a professional rodeo athlete, it's getting sponsors, right? It's the practice time you need. If you're a football player, it's the working out, it's the training, it's the strength, right? But see, our cup is pretty much full now. And we try to pile these things on lastly, and you're gonna see really quick what happens. Whoop, it's full. And if I add anything else in here, it's just gonna overflow. Not to mention,
I have a big rock that I wanna add.
This is the number one thing that will shift and change your life. But the truth is, your cup's already full. And it ends up balancing on top. And you never really get to dive into the thing that really matters. See, there are other small rocks that we might be able to fit into our cup, which is great. But the truth is, the one that really matters is what we put last. Right? And so many times as entrepreneurs, as athletes, as people want to grow and get better and go to the next level, we fill up all our time with busy work, things that do not matter. And then we try to fit this in after the kids go to bed. We try to fit this in after we're so exhausted, our creativity is just gone. We try to fit this in, if you're a rodeo athlete, after you've already worked another job and you're exhausted. Then you try to train and practice, okay? And so the truth is, I wanna show you what can happen if you simply just rearrange things a little bit. I will show you how you can go from a spot where you're overwhelmed and you feel like there's no way out to a way to get the big rocks done first. That way, you feel like you're achieving something.
Watch what happens when I rearrange these rocks.
Okay, now that we got our cup cleaned out, emptied out, this is kind of like a spring cleaning. You know how like when you clean the closet and you feel amazing because your life is organized for like a week or two until the chaos starts creeping in? We have just cleaned out the closet. We now have our time back and it's completely empty. Now we can do whatever we want with our time. Instead, this time, we decide that we're gonna do the big rocks first. Now these big rocks, like this big, gigantic thing, is the thing that changes your life, right? If you're a business owner and sales is your massive, big rock, and it really doesn't matter if anything else gets done, if you make the sales because you know your product or service is incredible, then focus on that big rock, right? So if you're a business owner, it's sales, okay? If you're a stay-at-home mother, it's maybe working on yourself. That way there's more of you to give to your husband, to more of you to give to your kids. There's more energy and more fuel in the tank, okay? If you're an athlete of some sort, it's exercising and focusing on your skill, building your strength, building your mental fortitude, right? And coming from being a world champion rodeo athlete, I learned that most of my competition practices at the end of the day, real early on. I decided, no sir. Instead of putting my practice last, I'm gonna put my strength, my conditioning, and my practice first priority every day. And guess what happened? I went from being probably a top 20 ranked athlete to a top 5 ranked athlete in a very short period of time. So put your big rock in first. There we go. Secondly, we start layering in some of the smaller rocks, right? So some of these other rocks maybe aren't quite as big, but they're super important. Maybe it's the systems and processes in your business. Maybe it's understanding product fulfillment in your company, any and all that stuff. So we just start layering in these other rocks, okay? So now our cup it looks full, right? It looks like it's all the way at the top and we can't, maybe we can't fit anything else. But the truth is, now that we put the big rocks first in, we can then fit everything else in, right? Now we're gonna go back and we're gonna go to the smaller stuff. Maybe it's returning the email. Maybe it's whatever, and these are the small rocks. And then the great thing about it is we can pour some in, and you see how they just kind of begin to fit in around the other rocks? And you can shift things around, you can move it around, you can put some more of these smaller rocks in. Again, this is maybe if you're a stay-at-home mom, prepping for your kids' meals for the week. Maybe if you're a business owner, it's responding to emails, right? It's the things that help a little bit, but don't majorly move your life forward, okay? Now at this point, we're just gonna continue filling up. And as you can see, we get a lot more stuff in there because everything fits around the big rock. right? That big rock should be the major time chunk. And here's the cool thing about this. You can just shake it, and you notice that things start to settle into their place. Once you have the big rocks first, you can rearrange. You can settle things in. Myself, I have certain things in my business and in my life that are non-negotiable. I block them off. Nothing can change it. And I fit everything else around that. It's incredible doing it this way because number one, as a husband, as a father, I show my wife and my kids that they're the most important things in my life, right? Not money, not my business, okay? Secondly, comes my business, my money. That falls in behind my family, okay? And then thirdly, comes my friendships, my free time, the things that I want, right? So as I begin to layer in all these things into my life, it all fits around the big rocks. Next, we're gonna go to the sand. Now the sand, again, represents busy work, right? It's things that make you think that you're so busy in life, but really aren't moving the needle forward. When I say needle, I mean like I'm here today and tomorrow I'm there. Right? This is the stuff that most people put in first or second that takes all their time. And as you can see, I'm gonna fill this bad boy all the way up, and then I'm gonna shift it around the big rocks. So I'm gonna come here. Again, I'm gonna lift this thing up. I'm gonna shake it. I'm gonna settle it in. I'm gonna settle it in. It's gonna settle. And the great thing about it is it looks like my cup is completely full. It looks like I can get nothing else into my cup. It looks so full that there is no way else that I can put anything else. But guess what comes next? Next comes the water. Okay, now the water are the things that most people actually put into their cup first, right? It's the social media. It's the YouTube. It's the Netflix. It's the Hulu. It's the Disney Plus, right? The truth is, this should be the last thing that goes in your cup. Myself, I restrict myself to absolutely no more than 1 hour of television per day. Most days, it's closer to about 30 minutes. If you were to average out the amount of time I sit in front of my television screen, it's 30 minutes. That's 30 minutes in Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, whatever it is. I don't spend a lot of time on that stuff. Even scrolling social media. I have a time tracker on my phone that limits me to a certain amount of time on my social media so I don't spend all my time. Remember, these Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all these apps, they have millions, if not billions of dollars worth of technology and algorithms that are designed to hook you into spending more time on their app so that they can give you more advertising and get you to buy things. So don't put them first, put them last. Now that we think our cup's full, then we can start layering in some of the water. And as you see, as we're layering in the water, it fills up our cup, right? But look what happens. The sand begins to settle. There's actually more time than you think. You feel fulfilled, and guess what? You get 10 times more done. Now, myself, and there is no bragging here, I've been able to create multiple 7-figure businesses. I'm a world champion athlete. I have a great relationship with my wife and my kids, and I love Jesus, and that's all awesome. But it's designed around this system. I put the big rocks first, and I'm not special. I'm not one of those guys that says I'm a big shot or I'm this. I'm not. I'm just a normal guy. And the truth is, through this little system, you can change your entire life. Put the big rocks first and go chase life. We'll see you later.